Okay, baby girl, ne? I know when you've been exercising, or strong, lift up 60 kgs, 70 kgs, 80 kgs of a man, and you just, ne? Okay, so when I say squeeze, baby girl, you squeeze, baby girl, okay? 1, 2, 3, squeeze. Right, one more time, baby girl, one more time. When I say squeeze, you squeeze. 1, 2, 3, squeeze. Sharp, strong, baby girl, strong.
I'm gonna try. Work till I die. I'm gonna fail and get up, 'cause I'm not giving up on my dream.
Hey gorgeous, welcome to my channel. I'm Kopana and this is How I Do Things, the show where you send me your questions and I'll let you know how I would do things, and I can take it as entertainment, use it as advice. Take it, don't take it, use it, don't use it at all. Listen, do what you will with it. Do you know why? Because I'm not a professional. I am not a professional at all. I'm just letting you know what I would do if I was in your shoes. Hanjies. So I've gotten this question before, and I've actually asked this question like when I was pregnant and I was looking at that big stomach and I was like, honey, now I must push this thing, apparently the size of a watermelon, through there. No, I was like, afterwards I'm just gonna be like loose. Have you ever taken an elastic and just stretched it, and then you stretch it again and you stretch it again? It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then at some point it just snaps, right? So I was like, am I gonna snap? Like, it was a real serious question, like what was going to happen to my little girl? Like, what was going to happen to my vagina? What was going to happen to my vagina? Then I found out some really interesting things, and I've actually had this question from a few ladies, that what am I supposed to do about the looseness and the tightness of down there? And I found out 5 things that every woman should know about looseness and tightness of their vaginas and the muscles around them. How does it actually work? And I also found a myth that many of us use, and we should stop saying this to each other. Let's get into it. Number 1, the vagina actually can't get loose per se. Like, you know, when you're stretching an elastic, you can stretch it to a point where it gets really loose and big, and sometimes it even snaps. That can't happen with the vagina. It is naturally elastic. So it's meant to stretch, but it's also meant to snap back into place. So as it stretches and it accommodates for things that go in and out for pleasure or for giving birth, it is actually meant to go back into shape. So it does get slightly looser or less tight, but it's not for the reasons that most of us think. And this just leads me to point number 2. We know the term of a loose vagina because that is the term that we usually use to shame people who are really active sexually, those who get around, as we'd like to say, or we view them as promiscuous, and we then say that they have loose vaginas. But that actually doesn't happen. It doesn't get loose. Like I said, it's elastic, it stretches and it goes back into shape. But penetration actually doesn't loosen the vagina muscles. 2 things do that, and penetration is not one of them. So if you think that by being sexually active you are loosening your vagina, that's actually a myth that many of us take around, and sometimes we use that to shame other people, and we should really stop doing that. Number 3, you're actually not supposed to have a tight vagina all the time. It's not supposed to be all tight and kept up and just like this the entire time. It's actually supposed to relax, self-lubricate, and stretch when you are turned on. When you are aroused, it's supposed to relax, making it easier for it to stretch and to come back and tighten here and there. And that's what happens when you're turned on. So it's not supposed to be all tight the entire time. And if you struggle to do that, it could be that you're not aroused as you should be, it's not wet, or you're not in the moment, or maybe something that is underlying. And if you struggle with that, that's something that you should actually speak to your gynecologist about, that I never feel like it relaxes and I don't know what to do to make it relax. We often tend to see the gynae when we think something is horribly wrong with us, and we only want to see them when we're giving birth, or there's funky liquids coming out, or it smells down there. But if we actually have questions about things such as, I don't ever get untight, or it's always tight and it's painful during intercourse, that is something that you should go see a nurse or a gynecologist about. It should relax, it should self-lubricate, and it should be able to stretch. And if you struggle with that, do see someone about that, because it can be quite painful if it's forever too tight and you can't relax and enjoy what's happening. Number 4, there are actually 2 things that can cause the loosening of the vagina: childbirth and age. And the vagina doesn't actually get loose, the muscles that make up the vagina actually just get a little weaker. And that's what causes a natural and slight loosening of the vagina. As you age, you can lose estrogen, and this can cause the vaginal tissues to loosen, become slightly drier and less stretchy or flexible. Childbirth. Now with childbirth, the vagina naturally stretches to let the baby through. And as it stretches, it can make the muscles around the vagina a little weak. And this is what then makes it feel as though your vaginal muscles or your vagina is looser or loose. Now, don't worry about that, because those muscles, even though they've gone weak, they do strengthen and they do snap back into shape. But this also leads me to point number 5, something that every single woman should know. And in my opinion, I think every single woman should do this. Number 5, every woman should know about her pelvic floor. I only learned about this after giving birth to my first baby, and I did not know how much being pregnant affected my pelvic floor. But even in aging, you need to know about your pelvic floor. No matter what your age is, you need to know what's going on down here. So what is the pelvic floor? These muscles are actually part of your core, which is the muscles which are just, how do I explain the core? The deep inside muscles that just cause the strength of the body, okay? And for the woman, the pelvic floor is part of those muscles. Now those muscles, when you use them and you do exercises, can help to strengthen and to tighten your vagina. The pelvic floor, if you were to sit on the floor and you were to straighten your back, the muscles that are around the vagina and link up with your core, those are your pelvic floor. When you do exercises, you strengthen those muscles, and that is good for your health. As you get older, you tend to weaken in that area, so you need to work on your core so that you can continue to have that strength down there, not just for having pleasure with your husband, but also as you age as a woman. Working on your core is great for your health, it's great for your posture, it's great for your body, because our body is interconnected. So a good core, which is at the base of our body, will then help and connect with the rest of our body and make us feel better as we carry this body until our final days on this earth. So what should you do about this knowledge with your pelvic floor? One of my favorite things to do is Kegel exercises. Now, once you've identified these muscles, then you can start to exercise these muscles. You can do things such as hip thrusters. You can be doing floor exercises that help you do pelvic lifts and twists that will help to strengthen that pelvic floor and give you that tightness and flexibility that you want. Doing Kegel exercises helps you to identify, where are these muscles that I'm actually working out? So what do? An easy way for you to identify the muscles that you're going to be using when you do your Kegel exercises is for you to think about what you do when you need to stop yourself from peeing. Now, if you were to go and pee and you wanted to stop peeing, which muscles would you tighten in order to stop the flow of pee? Those are the muscles that you're going to use to do your Kegels. You can do them when you're sitting, and some women like to do them while they are lying down. And it's a simple 3-step process. Number 1, choose a position. Sit or lie down. I'm going to do it while standing. Number 2 is for you to tighten the very same muscles that you would use if you were going to stop yourself from peeing. And you're going to hold it for 5 seconds. Let's do it together. Stop yourself from peeing, identify the muscles, right? I'm going to sit down for this one. So what you're going to do is that you're going to identify the very same muscles that you would use to stop yourself from peeing. So, okay, I found them. All right. Now, once you've chosen your position and you've identified the muscles, what you're going to do is you're going to tighten those muscles for 5 seconds. Let's do it together. Tighten. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then loosen for 5 seconds. So keep it loose. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that was your first round. And you're going to do that 5 times. I know women like to do this while they are driving. No one has to know. You could be doing it at dinner. You could decide that I'm bored right now. I'm on Instagram. Kegel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Loosen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now with my second pregnancy, I learned Kegel exercises that actually helped me do it on 3 different levels. So I would tighten for 3, tighten even more for another 3, and tighten even more for another 3 seconds, and then loosen for 5. So it helps you to tighten on 3 different levels, and the more you do this, the better those muscles become, the tighter they become, the more control you have over that region as well, and the better you're working on your pelvic floor. So start to exercise and start to do your research on what exercises can I do to strengthen my pelvic floor. How do I work my Kegels? What does it help me with? Every single woman should know about Kegels and pelvic exercises, knowing what happens to their pelvic floor as they age and how they can contribute to their pelvic floor health, strengthening it and making it better as they age, during and after childbirth as well. I'm so happy I got that off my chest. I really like this type of information that we should all know about our very own vaginas. I hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you're going to share this with someone, especially if you didn't know any one of these points. Then please do share it with your sisters, with your aunts, with your mom. Every single woman should know about this, young or old, to keep their pelvic floors healthy and to cause that nice get right, get tight action, you know? Give this video a big thumbs up, and please do share it with as many ladies as you possibly can. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, gorgeous, I'm Kopana Shimang, and this is how I do things. Don't use it. Take it as what? Take it as a hint. What do I say? Then that's something that you should go see a nurse or a vagina. It can be less. What? The vaginal tissues to loosen. Okay. The vaginal tissues are the now once you've identified these muscles.